Sam here. I just wanted to do a very quick video for you just to show you a little bit on how to join as you go for our blanket, our friendship blanket crochet along. As you can see, I've done one square already, one triangle square, and I'm going to have to do 4 of these for the central part. And this orange triangle is going to form a square in the middle. So this is my first one. I'm going to rotate that so that forms the first quarter of that central square, and I'm going to join my orange yarn to the top edge here, and I'm going to be working into the back 2 loops. I think you can see there. I'm going to be picking those up and working into those. So to start, I'm just going to put my hook into the side chain, take my orange yarn and pull up a loop, and that's going to be my first loop of the 14. So I'm going to go into this one and pick up the 2 back loops, and the reason I'm picking up those 2 back loops is that means there's no hole formed. If you just went into the front loop, you'd get a hole. So here we are, picking them up all the way along. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to find both back loops, but they are there, and it does make a big difference to how neat your work is. Is that right? Yes, that's right. So all the way along. And for these first 4 squares that we're doing from the centre, joining it this way, you get a change in direction of these bars. So this first one's going that way, and then we'll be working this way, and that will add texture and flow to the blanket. So I'm just going to go all the way back. To the beginning, to the last 2 loops, and then I'm going to join my other colour back in, complete that last stitch, and then you can see I'm ready to go with my first stitch. Drop that colour and then pick up the orange again, and just follow that triangle pattern to do another square. I think if I stop here, you can see those bars going that way now as opposed to this way. So it just makes it more attractive. So you can see here that I've done the second square to join, and in order to do the third one, I'm going to rotate again. And you can see here that this is the left hand edge of my square, and this edge is slightly different to the top and the bottom and the right hand side. So it's going to be slightly different. If you have a look, we're going to put our hook through these holes just picking up the top 2 loops. So that's for a left hand edge. As you can see, I've still got my yarn joined, and that shows you where you should join your yarn. It's that finishing chain there. So I'm gonna pick up those 2 loops and off I go, picking them up. You can see it's a bit easier than going through the back 2 loops. So I'm going to go all the way along. Oops. And you can see as you join them, the work becomes less curly. So that's a good thing. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So now we're just gonna do 3, 1, 3, 2, all the way back. The last 2 loops, pick up our other colour, finish that stitch, and we're off again. And again you can see the direction. So now we have 3 squares, and you can see the orange squares coming along nicely in the middle. And this time we need to join the square here and here. So I'm going to turn it again. Like last time, we've got that left hand edge to join into, but now we've also got this edge to join into. And like we did before, we're going to pick up the 2 back loops as we join that. So this was my slip stitch finishing, and I'm going to join my orange again, pull that tight, and start picking up my loops. I would recommend that you always try and join squares if you're doing 2 sides, having this left hand edge. It's much easier than joining something on the right hand side. So those are my loops, and I need to join it into this first stitch. So the 2 back loops, find those, pull a loop through, and then slip stitch it through that first one, and then 2 all the way back to the beginning. And then that will keep that edge nice and neat. that one. I'm going to do that again, picking up loops just like normal. Back to my left hand edge. And then our second stitch into that back two, pull up a loop, pull it straight through that first stitch and then through two, all the way back. So you can see it keeps that nice direction going and it's nice and neat. So with 4 squares done, I want to join onto this edge and join a square as I go along this edge. So I'm going to go into that chain at the bottom and I'm going to do 14 chains, just like we were starting a brand new square. Join it there, go along just as you would for a new square, and then do your foundation row, go into the back 2 loops of each row and join it that way. So you can slip stitch off each square if you like, and that will give you that bar on the end to show that you've done a square, or you can do 2 squares in one go and that looks nice too. And so you'll do 2 squares here and then turn it, join at the bottom of the square that you've just done and do your squares around in a spiral. I hope that's useful for you and I hope you enjoy.